Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be doing a valve cover on a Jeep 4.0 engine. This is a Jeep Grand Cherokee 2001. Now as you can see, I have most of the stuff removed because I'm doing a head on this, but I'm going to show you how to do the valve cover gasket. It's pretty important. I would also suggest doing the PCV valves and the grommets, which I have, and I'll show you how to do that. But basically this job is pretty easy. Even with all the stuff here, it's not hard to do at all. You'll have to remove one ground wire that's back here. And then one of the first things I'm going to do is get these linkages off here. So go ahead and pop that like that. This one, if you push it forward like that, this one, same thing, boom. And then we got a 10 millimeter right here, and one more right there. And that comes up like that, and you can kind of just set it to the side. You're going to need a 7/16 socket and wrench. Go ahead, take all these bolts off. Let me go ahead and give you a mental note of where all the bolts are placed and where the studs and just the regular bolts go. So as you can see, it's mostly studs on this side with 2 bolts in the front, 2 regular bolts in the front, all regular bolts up until the end. There's 2 studs here, and then a regular one all the way in the back. So go ahead and get all your bolts out, and then we'll get to pulling the valve cover up. Now, my only suggestion for removing this valve cover is trying to remove that PCV valve and grommet first, because as you can see, I've done this job before and it hits there really hard. So if you remove it, it should come right out. And I would suggest leaving the bolts in, and then I'll show you what to do with them before we take them out. Alright, so what you can do if you want is take this, put it on the box, and then what you can do is poke holes in the box and make an outline of this, and then stick the bolts in the box so it looks like the valve cover, so that way you know exactly where the bolts go. Or you can just look at the pictures, or go back and pause the video of where all the bolts were. So that'll be an easy way to do it, honestly. Alright, so next what you should do, get all your washers here separated, get your bolts separated. Basically, you just have to take a screwdriver and pry them off. It depends on how old they are. These, these are pretty new because I found out my head was cracked, so I recently did my valve cover. So these are easy to get off, but if they're original, they're going to be pretty hard. So go ahead and get all those separated. Alright, so the next step is going to be cleaning the valve cover. This is very important. You want to get all the old oil and residue out. So I'm going to do it like this. Put it in a bucket. Grab some brake clean parts cleaner and just spray it. Get that stuff, get all that goo. Stuff is bad. So after about a half a can of brake clean, we got it looking pretty good. Next step, I'm going to put on some degreaser and spray it off with a hose, and then we should be good. Alright, get you some Purple Power. Just go ahead and spray it down really thorough. And then we're going to let it sit for a couple minutes, and then we're going to scrub it till it's clean. No more oil residue. Also, one more thing, when you're cleaning the valve cover, make sure to spray down in here and then let see all that? This is the top layer where the PCV valve gets its kind of filtered air. So make sure you clean in there because there's most likely a lot of oil and gunk. All right, my dudes. So as you can see, I have my new cylinder head here. I have all of my valve cover grommets. The cleanup for me is obviously going to be a bit easier because I don't have to do it. But I'll still give you some tips and whatnot on how to get a perfect sealing surface. But what you want to do next is go into your valve cover, grab your grommets here, and these pop on just like that. As you can see, and you have 15 of them, so go ahead and just do them all now, and that'll be one step closer to getting this valve cover on and getting it sealed up. All right, so now what I want to do is show you quickly how these grommets go on. So I don't know if you can see, but there you go. There's 3 tabs, and those tabs need to go on just like that. And then you need to make sure the tabs are pushed through on the bottom side. Let me turn on the flash. You see that? How they're pushed out and flush? You want to make sure they're like that. So go ahead, get all of them in, and then, you know, when you're done, just double check them, give them all a good push. It's easy to tell by looking at them if they're installed right. Sometimes you can turn it and that'll help it push out a little better. So yep, there we go. Let's go ahead and get all those in, and then we will get to the installation part next. All right, there we go. Just want to show you guys a quick example of what they should look like when they're in. If you need to check them, just push it, and then as you can see, as long as the lip is over, you should be good. Do not use any sort of oil or grease to do this. That will not be good. So do not do that. All right, guys. Next step, we're going to go get this sucker set on the car and get her tightened down. All right, y'all. It's time to get this valve cover on. So if your surface isn't clean, I would recommend to go ahead and get that sucker clean. This, to me, in my opinion, is the best stuff to use. Scotch-Brite pad. Just go hit that sucker lightly. Luckily enough, these valve cover surfaces aren't as hard as the head gasket surfaces to clean. So that's always a plus. But go ahead, once it's clean, get your isopropyl alcohol, a nice rag, and then just go around, hit that surface, make sure there's no residue, because we want a nice, perfect seal that's going to last for years and years with no oil leaks. That's what we want. Try to do work so it lasts. Hopefully. All right, let me get this cleaned up and we'll get the valve cover sealed. All right, next, let's go ahead and set our valve cover gasket on. As you see, the holes here, and the hole here go on the stud there and there, like I showed you in the video. So go ahead and set it down. And it's going to line up. Boom. Look at that. Alright, next I'm going to grab the valve cover and I'm going to show you where all the bolts go. And like I said earlier, it's best to leave the PCV valve grommets off because it's harder to get them on with this here. It'll usually scratch and bump that, and you don't want to do that. So alright guys, like I said, just tighten them until it stops. As simple as that. I guarantee you won't get a leak as long as you install the grommets right and clean your surface good. Alright. Go ahead and get your PCV grommets and valves in next. Heck yeah, we got some new PCV valves and grommets because those things always go. So you might as well keep a set on hand too. Them suckers don't last very long. But yeah, let's pop these in and hopefully our engine will be breathing nice and good after this.